It's one of the things that we've added over the past year, like we've started doing a little bit. But I talk to Barbara all the time, and Barbara's like, you guys really should do a lot more of this. It's very profitable, and I can't wait to learn more, Barbara. So we're here. We want to learn too.
You're the expert for this webinar here, so that, you know, this is going to be falling on you to explain to us simpletons here how we can be making more money.
Well, and I stayed up extra super late last night because I wanted to make sure I had a ton of content in the webinar and in the slides. I might have overdone it a little bit, but I'm all about over delivering. So if you guys everybody hang in there, because make sure you've got a notepad and a pen, because there's a lot of great content, and I know it's going to spark ideas with you. I just know it is. So I want to thank the TWF guys. You know, do you guys hate being called that?
I think it's really cool.
Dan and Eric, TWF guys, for bringing me to your tribe, because you have just a lot of incredible, powerful entrepreneurs who follow what you do with the wholesale formula. So allowing me to share my my bundle content with them is truly a pleasure and a gift. So thank you for
absolutely. And the thing is that's why, you know, I'm glad to have you. It's great that you're part of our tribe, but just, you know, a different approach. You know, when people ask us, do you bundle? I mean, the answer we have to give them is no, but that some people hear that and think, well, I shouldn't, you know, and it's like, we're not the authoritative. This is still what we do. Take what we do well and apply what you know resonates with you to your business, and so on and so forth. So if bundling is obviously something that resonates with you, and hopefully today you'll show people, you know, how it's accessible. You know, that's the beauty of it. And we fully support doing it. And like Dan said, we plan on emulating a good deal of this ourselves. So.
Good. I mean, this is one of the things that, you know, we actually can't teach our group. Like, it's just not possible.
Right. We don't like to.
So we love bringing on people who have great knowledge in it, and can't wait to see it. And it's funny, we have one of our employees actually watching back there too, so he's taking notes.
Well, and that's the thing. It is about focusing on, you know, I don't know if you were in the presentation with Frank Kern, where he said one thing at this event last week, and that really hit home with me. We can't do everything in our business as much as we want to as entrepreneurs, and ADD and bright and shiny objects, and it feeds us in a visceral way, right? But we can't, or we wouldn't get anything done. So I love that you guys have this hyper focus on wholesale sourcing, and I have a hyper focus on niche product creation and niche market research. And, you know, you focus on what you really love to do and what you do well. And I think that's how we learn from each other.
I couldn't agree more. Yep.
So, hey, are you guys all good if I just jump in and start this presentation? Because I have a lot of content to share. I want you to stay on to the end, because with your permission, I'd love to share an offer with you. Being part of Dan and Eric's tribe, I've come up with a special offer. They've come up with a cool bonus. And there's going to be a ton of content in there too. So hang in there. We're going to get started. And now pay attention, because I'm going to have exercises throughout this presentation. So this is a little bit interactive. So so just turn off your cell phones and pay attention, and we're gonna have some fun. So here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen here, and boom. Okay. So if there was any doubt about the topic of this presentation, it is on bundling. Okay, so we're going to talk about, I think we're just going to do me here. No, that's you. It's all good. Let's just shut off the screen altogether. Boom. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to create profitable bundles that sell year round. Now, I'm not talking about seasonal bundles where you do a bundle for Easter and then you have to wait another year to do it again, and Valentine's Day. I'm talking about using bundles as a way to own your listing on Amazon, to have a stable base of income on Amazon using product bundles. So today, here's what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about hot niche markets and how to identify them. We're going to talk about problems and passions of these markets so that you understand your market before you ever source one single product. We're going to talk about how to discover what your competitors are selling to this market and how to do it better. We're going to talk about how to source your bundle items wholesale and factory direct in small quantities. And we're going to talk about how to competition-proof your bundles so you own the buy box. And then we're going to talk about how to drive your own traffic to Amazon to increase your sales, so you're not just relying on Amazon feeding up your products in the feed, but also about taking control and driving your own traffic. Now, if you haven't got an inkling from that last one as to my personality style. I'm kind of a control freak. So I like to own as many aspects or control as many aspects of my business as I can. Now, I don't mean by doing everything, but by controlling it, I reduce my risk. So that's kind of what bundling is about, is reducing your risk. So poll time. Now, if I can figure out how to hit the poll here, this is your first interactive quiz here. What is the importance of owning your Amazon listing? Why is it important? Can everybody see the poll? Can you all see the poll? Just, hey, Dan and Eric, can you shake your head because I can see you? Can you see the poll? Yes.
Yeah, we
okay.
can see it.
So I want you to tell what have you experienced, or what are your biggest fears on Amazon as an Amazon seller? Is it price tanking? Is it Amazon's on the listing? There's no profit in wholesale catalogs. I hear that all the time. And by the way, I'm here to tell you that's not true. I can find hidden nuggets in CSV files when everybody else throws them away because they don't see any obvious profit. And I share that in my course. So there's too much competition for the buy box. How many people experience that? And how many people, you always have to find new products to source because you're doing RA and OA and your inventory pools are limited, right? So go ahead and finish up that poll here. Go ahead. You've got 3, 2, 1. Finish up on that poll. And it looks like we have a majority of people. It's kind of across the board, but price tanking is huge. Always have to find new products to source, which tells me we have a lot of retail arbitrage and online arbitrage people in here. Amazon's on the listing, right? Amazon is becoming a competitor on more and more listings. If they're smart, you know, they're no dummies. So if they see a product selling crazy, stupid well, they're going to go to the manufacturer and they're going to say, hey, look, we want to sell your product. And then price tanking seems to be right up there with always have to find products to source. So I'm going to give you some tools today. I'm going to show you my perspective and how I enter the Amazon marketplace, in addition to being a wholesale seller. So we're going to end this polling. Thank you guys for being so interactive. That was pretty cool. There are the results. Price tanking is the #1. Okay. Can we share the results? There we go. Price tanking. But it was kind of across the board. All righty. So let's keep going. Why bundling? So a couple of years ago, Amazon slammed down the ban hammer and the brand hammer, right? Started restricting brands and closing brands off about 1.5 years ago. That prior to that, it was a lot easier to sell, I think. In fact, I got stuck with a pallet full of Pokemon toys right before Q4 1.5 years ago because when I sourced them, when I ordered them, it was not a restricted brand. And then when they showed up, I went to scan them and they were restricted. Now, I got really lucky because I waited about 10 days, 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm not sure what to do with these. All right, let me find another. They're sitting in my garage. What do I do? I waited 2 weeks. On a whim, I scanned them again, and it was ungated. So I quickly got them into Amazon. They sold really quick during Q4, and then they locked it down again. So how many of you experienced where, you know, maybe you were ungated in a brand for a while or it wasn't gated, and now Amazon's got more restrictions?
Hey, Barbara, I don't know if everybody sees the same screen I am, but I can still see the poll overlaying the. I don't know if it's just me, it's fine. I just want to make sure that. Yeah, that's gone now.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
That was the first time I did a poll. Thanks, guys. Hey, this is real life. This is not Memorex.
That's right.
Okay, inauthentic claims. You guys all know what that is. And there are a lot more sleazy players on Amazon, unfortunately. There are people who you send in authentic products and they'll buy the product, swap it out to inauthentic, and then do a claim against you. It's happened. It hasn't happened to me, but I've seen it happen to some people in the Facebook groups. Seller saturation, price tanking. Now, bundling is an easy way to kind of enter into private label without going to China, which I did last April, and I have to say it was great and overwhelming at the same time. And you know, you have to buy larger quantities. Some people just don't have the resources to bring in a container of product, and it's a lot riskier. Private label or bundling is an easy way to kind of test out private label concepts before going bigger. And then Amazon favors brand owners. So when you bring your own brand of product, which would be the brand that you'd put on your bundle, Amazon favors brand owners instead of favoring somebody who's just, you know, bringing. Amazon's mandate is to add as much value as they can to their customers. So when you're a brand owner of your own products and you're adding value to their marketplace, they love that. And then you control your listing details, of course. So you can go in there and change your listing and tweak it and do more keyword research. And you just have more control over your listing than if it were a generic listing that 100 other sellers were on. And you can create consistent income base from which to launch other projects. So you want to build out wholesale, and you want to build out private label. And there are other things that you want to do on the Amazon marketplace, merch designs and Kindle books. Having a consistent income where at the beginning of every month, you're not at zero again, where, okay, what do I have to do this month just to make my mortgage, right? Having that consistent income base gives you a sense of freedom and calm to pursue your other projects on Amazon. So who am I? Why would you listen to me, right? So I'm the creator of the Bundle Masterclass. I've been selling online since, that is not a typo, 1996. I know I look good for my age, right? I'm old school. I'm an internet marketing godmother. I used to, I first entered with eBay, right? As a lot of us did. And then in 2002, I started a publishing company in the global energy industry. And that was my foray into a larger e-commerce business. I am an active Amazon seller. I don't just teach this stuff, I do. I truly believe in being a practitioner. I do not consider myself a guru. I don't like that word. I'm in there with in the trenches with you guys. I'm trying new things. I'm learning. I'm failing. I'm doing them better. And then I bring that new knowledge to my students. And I have multiple streams of passive income, which I truly believe that is an important thing to strive for in your business. I'm in industries including physical products, publishing, training, consulting, real estate, and I'm a constant learner. I don't know if you can see behind me, I've got this, for the first 13 weeks of the year, I think I'm doing like 8 events. I just got back from a huge marketing event in San Diego. And when I learn new things to bring to Amazon sellers, you get that so I'm kind of a little bit ahead of your curve so that I can teach you as I learn. Okay, so enough about me, because you guys, some of you know me already. So what some of my students are saying, that they like my energy, which you can see is kind of off the charts. You might have to turn me down sometimes, but I am pretty energetic most of the time, and my trainings are pretty much at this level. I don't slow down too much. So it's infectious when you start learning something that you really like. It's infectious to teach it, and it's infectious to learn it. Okay, my approach to bundling. So a lot of people, when they hear bundling, they think, well, just go to the dollar store and buy some stuff and throw it in a poly bag and toss it into Amazon and see what happens. And I don't believe in that process at all, because you're not validating any concepts. You're just, it doesn't matter what you or I think people might buy. It matters what the numbers say. And you don't know what the numbers say until you do your market research first. So I truly believe in deeply understanding your target market, a niche market, a fanatical niche market, way before you source anything, before you look at any products. You want to identify people's passions and problems. So when they look at your listing, if you've done a really good job on your bundle and you know what they want because of your research, they're going to hear in their head the words, "Shut up and take my money." They won't have to think twice about hitting that buy box. You want to identify your competition in the space. Now, I don't mean competition of a specific bundle, but competition selling to that same market to get ideas about what that market buys and doesn't buy. You want to build and evaluate your concepts before rolling it out. Then identify suppliers, create custom pieces, test your concept, drive your own traffic, and then automate and delegate, lather, rinse, repeat. And that is my process. Now, I know it sounds like a lot, but the key is the top couple pieces, the top three points: understanding your market and the marketplace for that market before you ever touch a product. So I'm going to just keep going. If you've got any questions, put them in the chat. I'll cycle back around to the chat. I have a lot of content I want to share with you today. So I promise I will get to the chat a little bit later. So go ahead and put your questions in there. So you want to know your market before sourcing. What do I mean by that? You want to conduct deep market research, and I use tools like merchantwords.com, George Lawrence's tool, Scope, keyword.io, Google Trends, and there are a lot of different tools out there to do keyword research. These are just a few of them that I use. You want to look for niches where you can combine high volume keywords. I call these mashups. So for instance, motorcycle riders who have dogs. Now, could you easily do a bundle with, you know, a little leather vest for small dogs, a little leather hat and little goggles, and you know, a little T-shirt that says, you know, I heart motorcycles. It's dog size, and then do 3 different variations of that: small, medium, and large dogs, right? With the little hole in the butt for the tail and little leather booties. I'm just brainstorming off the top of my head, but you could totally. So here's what happens with that: you can hit 2 different fanatical markets in the keyword searches on your listing when you do mashups like this. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way to do bundles, but I like doing bundles like that because I can really ramp up my keyword searches fast by doing mashups. Another would be organization tools plus RV owner, or organizational tools plus tiny house owner, organizational tools plus new college student, right? So you'll have, instead of just organizational tools, that's way too wide. I encourage you to niche down so that you're really solving a problem for your customer. And then another idea is like indoor garden. I just bought an aeroponics thing. Oh my gosh, I've got like dildos like this high on my kitchen counter. It's so cool. I got it for Christmas, right? So that led me to this idea, indoor garden, but then people who are interested in keto, or a student in a dorm room, or someone with a tiny house. So you'll have people searching for indoor garden and keto. And if you do your bundle right, you can mash up both of those markets and get traction from both keywords. Make sense?
Yeah.
You guys with me? Okay, good. So I'm going to keep going. Okay, so talk about things. I want you to share in the chat. Talk about things that you're passionate about. But using this mashup example, I want you to really niche it down. So don't say, I'm passionate about dogs. Well, what exactly? Niche it down to like, how about elderly dogs with hip problems, or small dogs, asthma, right? So really niche down what a passion of yours or a problem that you think a market would like solved, and put that in the chat for me. I'm going to screech over to the chat real quick over here and just see what ideas are in there. And if you guys want to shout out some of the ideas, you can probably see the chat easier than I can.
Yeah, we actually can't because we didn't get this set up.
All right,
proper.
teaching and wine, long-haired dogs, and hiking in the snow. This is what I'm talking about. Carol Joy, shout out. You get like a big gold coin for this. So basketball. Adrian, I'm going to challenge you to niche that down. How about basketball for parakeet owners? Off the top of my head, right? So have you ever seen like, how about a basketball puppy game, like the puppy bowl? I'm going to totally, I go on these little tangents when I start brainstorming, but you ever seen the puppy bowl where they do like the football with the puppies? Well, how could you have like a bundle of a basketball game for 4 puppies, right? And you have all of the things that you need for that basketball game to make it with the little shirts and everything. I don't know. Cats and camping. Oh, that's interesting. I don't even know where to go with that. There's so many ideas. Joint pain, but David, niche it down. Joint pain and what? Fitness and youth health. Wonderful. Simple, cheap activities for grandchildren. Lightweight camp stoves. Why would they have to be lightweight, Gordon? Is it for somebody who's in a wheelchair, who maybe needs a portable camping stove and camping stuff that's in a backpack or in the pouch on the wheelchair, and the wheelchair is like ramped up and motorized with these giant wheels, so it's like an all-terrain wheelchair? Wouldn't that be a niche market? Now, what product bundles could you bring to that niche market for somebody? I mean, that is pretty niche. I haven't done keyword research on it, but I probably will after this webinar, because that sounds like a really interesting market to serve with a product bundle. Dog companions for safety for women on walks. Oh, that's an interesting bundle idea, Wendy. Okay, so do you guys get an idea? You've done a really great job. Thank you for sharing. Do you guys get an idea of what I mean by mashing up?
Yeah, you got some good responses there. It's a really active group here. That's great.
Yeah, small dog health supplements, travel, or so what I'm going to do, folks, is goat people and gifts. Oh, goats are these pygmy goats. Crazy market. There's like pajamas for pygmy boats, and you could have so much fun with that market, right? So I'm going to save the chat after the webinar is done. I'm going to make sure I save that chat and maybe put it in a PDF or file or something so you can all revisit these ideas, because we don't have time. There's so many ideas. We don't have time to go over them in the webinar, but I want to make sure that you get to see them afterwards. So thank you for playing in my sandbox. That was fun. Can I keep going?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So competitive research. So after we've, and of course in the Bundle Masterclass, I go a lot deeper. There's the first lesson is all about understanding a target market. We don't look at products, nothing in the first module. It's just all about how to evaluate a target market, and then how to niche down those markets. So competitive research. After you've identified a market you want to go after, you want to look at what else is being sold to that market. So nobody's going to have the same bundle, and you don't want the same bundle. You want your bundle to be unique, but you want to see what things are being sold to that market so that you can start getting an idea for the sales volume of the products in your niche, what holes are in the market that you see people maybe making comments on that products are missing. Oh, I wish it had XY, a Velcro clasp or whatever, right? To start getting an idea of what types of needs are not being met in that market. Identify weaknesses in products and weaknesses in the listing. Because you might see, and I've got a couple of examples in here too, of what could be a really good product that's selling really well, but the listing is maybe not that great. So if you do a better job at that bundle that's already been tested as it works, and you create a better version of it and a better listing and off marketing, that's the trifecta, off Amazon marketing, that's the trifecta right there. Because it's already validated by another seller who's maybe not doing as well as you're going to learn how to do. Okay, make your bundle irresistible. So shut up and take my money. That's what I go for when they look at my listing, you know, on that search engine page with all these other listings on there. I want my picture, my primary picture must convert them to a click, because I know once I get them on my page, on my listing page, if I've done my job right, if I've done my market research and I really understand my market and I've written my marketing copy to speak to them and done my keyword research, they will think in their head, shut up and take my money and click buy. How many of you have ever had that experience where you see a product on Amazon, you go like, I don't care what it costs, I want it? You guys, Dan and Eric.
Oh, I mean, that happens to me on a daily basis.
This is daily for this man.
All the time, right? I know I'm kind of we're all Amazon Prime buyers, I would assume, you know, when we're Prime addicted. So I've had that experience, and I want to bring that experience to Amazon's buyers. So you want to create, an added value experience. So that means making sure that your bundle only has things in it that meet a need or serve a passion for that market. Your initial passion and problem research are going to reveal to you what they want. Don't second guess that and say, oh, but I really like XYZ, so I'm going to throw it in. If you haven't validated that in your research phase, then don't put it in the bundle. You want to make it unique to everybody else. Don't just do Me Too products, all right? You really want to bring your own brand to the marketplace. Over deliver. Packaging, inserts. Don't do anything halfway. There's a saying, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. So in your business, you want to do that little extra that lazy sellers won't take the time or energy to do, because it sets you apart from other sellers. And then you want to ask the right questions. Here's what you don't ask. What else can I throw in this bundle? How many of you guys have seen a bundle that's it's really awesome, it's well done, and then they throw in like chapstick or a 6-inch plastic ruler or a keychain that is completely unrelated to the stuff in the bundle? And why do they do that? Because they're trying to lock it down from other sellers. Well, you're not meeting the criteria of providing an amazing experience to Amazon buyers. When you do something like that, you're just serving yourself, you're not serving them. So that is the wrong thing to do. What else can I throw in this bundle? Here's what you want to ask. What else does my ideal buyer want or need? And in module 1 in the bundle masterclass, I teach you the 3 questions you must ask yourself when you're doing the research phase in order to identify what they want or need. So where to source? Wow, you know, I see in some Facebook groups people saying, wow, I can't find any product. And I have the opposite. You know, it's everywhere. Product is everywhere. So I have a set of criteria for products as I'm creating a bundle, because I want to know that if a bundle hits, I can keep selling it, because what we want to do is create a base of income, right? That's replenishable. So the viability of the products that I put in my bundle means, do I have long-term access to these bundled products? And if a supplier, let's say I purchase a closeout product and it does really well in a bundle, how can I get that product manufactured for the quantity that I need, small or large, if that product does hit? How can I source wholesale? Manufacture direct. Now, by the way, guys, there are manufacturers all over the world. All over the world. In fact, I just saw something on CNN the other night about Ethiopia. the Chinese government is investing in Ethiopia, and they've got this huge manufacturing complex they're building out. And it's an entire village. So and I think they're doing textiles or leather. Look it up. Just Google Ethiopia manufacturing. They just started it. So there are all places in the world to manufacture things. You can manufacture in the US. If you're Canadian based, there are Canadian based manufacturers. Think outside of what you hear the normal conversations in Facebook groups. Be ahead of that curve. You know, be an independent thinker and take that information, but then expand on it for your own business. Okay, I got off track there. So brand owners who will white label. So I have a couple of suppliers, wholesale suppliers, who will stick my label on their product for me. So right out of the gate, that is the basis for my bundle. Then I can add other things and I own that product. Manufacture it yourself. You can go direct to manufacturer, Etsy. So did you guys know that there are some amazing artists on Etsy who make these just incredible products in all different categories? You can actually source wholesale and lock them down to a specific design of a product where they make it for you. Just make sure if that bundle hits, that they have the ability to ramp up their manufacturing in order to create more quantity for you. And then local stores. This is an easy one. I like to go to stores just to get ideas. And if I see a product that is feeding a niche that I'm in, I'll look at the back. I'll look at the label on the back there. It's the manufacturer and the contact information, the website, and I can just contact them from their website. Okay, so search examples. Oh, by the way, Google is your friend. You'll hear me say this throughout the course. Google is your friend. So I just searched for wholesale plush. We were working on a bundle with one of my students on teaching kids sea life and the ecology of the sea and how pollution is and how pollution is affecting animals. So she wanted to put together this educational bundle. So we just Googled wholesale plush and we found this guy on the first page, joissu.com. Go write that down. It's a really cool site. And for 54 cents each, I can get this entire set of 6 of these, right? That's like a little over $3 if I buy it in quantity for this set of 6. Now brainstorm a little bit. What else could you put together with this so that you can meet the niche of maybe homeschooled children learning about sea ecology? What would that bundle look like? And that's just one potential niche. There are a lot of other niches. So go check out joissu.com. But this is just an example of how to use Google. And I just Googled, I'm sorry about the top here. Baking supplies. So private label baking supplies. Here's traditionalbaking.com, clabbergirl.com. I went to AliExpress and put in kitchen organization, found a bunch of things I could put together in a kitchen bundle but you want to do a kitchen bundle for brand new apartment owners or house owners and for different decor. So a brand new, somebody who's just purchased or moved into a house who has Tuscan decor, a mid-century modern decor, shabby chic decor. So you put the same products in there, but you can have variations for different color schemes in the house, for example, or different types of living arrangements, for example. Okay. How do you competition? What's that?
I was asking Eric if he would characterize my style as shabby chic.
Well, you forgot the first part now.
I got shabby.
We would call you guys kind of bohemian style. Bohemian.
He's more bohemian.
Yeah, bohemian. We got to do some keyword research on bohemian bundles. Okay, so competition proof your bundles. How do we lock down our bundles? How do we make sure that not only we have to meet a balance of protecting our bundle from competitors, but also making sure that whatever we custom make for that bundle adds value to the bundle. So custom packaging. How about dual purpose packaging? One of my bundles is puppets. So I created this box that looks like a cage that has like air holes drawn on the cage, right? So it looks like it's a little cage for these puppets, this whole set of 6 hand puppets. We also have in that bundle, I did an adoption certificate where the child could fill in the names for each of the animals and the puppets. And it says, you are the proud person, owner. I don't remember how we worded it, but it was an adoption certificate with like this really cool gilded paper that they could hang on the wall or put on the refrigerator with magnets, right? So we thought about, now who's our target market for this? It's not children. It's grandmas. It's moms, right? It's aunts like me. I would totally buy that for my niece, right? What else could you do with that? You could create a little cardboard puppet theater, a small puppet theater. Ooh, I think I might have to, okay, right? So you put that with it, and then you create a book, just a little printed pamphlet on how to create your own puppet show. See, I could go off on tangents all the way. You know what else we did with those puppets? Because I bought so many of them. It was a liquidation deal. We also did a bundle as golf club head covers. Discovered they would fit over a golf club. Went to Goodwill, bought a couple golf clubs, a big one, a little one, put them on, they fit. So we did a bundle, same product, but we did 2 different niche markets. So dual purpose packaging, custom added value inserts. So some of the things I just mentioned, printed advertising specialty. So basically a part of your bundle, maybe it's an electronics bundle for a cell phone, newest cell phone user. And one of the things you put in there is a little power bank, but you have your name printed on it. A related education piece, right? So what we talked about with the stuffed plush with the whale and the marine animals. You put in like a little booklet on the history of each of those animals. A puzzle and a pen. I've got a bundle that's in the zombie market. So we have some zombie mugs, like matching zombie mugs for his and her. And we did this whole breakfast bundle on how to start your day. You start your day as a zombie, and then this bundle helps turn you into a real life human ready to go. And part of that was a zombie crossword puzzle that we actually had created. And then on the flip side of that is a zombie word search. And then we sourced pens with zombies on them. And we put some coffee with it and a couple of other things. And there's our bundle that's zombie based. But the person who's buying it is picturing themselves. The way we write the copy is picturing themselves sitting in the morning, feeling like a zombie, right? They're like, oh, okay, I'm going to do my puzzle. And they got their little zombie mug and their zombie coffee in there. And we branded the coffee with, we white labeled it with our own zombie brand of coffee, right? So we paint the picture and we draw the story out in our marketing copy so that they can imagine themselves using this bundle, which makes them say, shut up and take my money.
That's right.
Okay. So we talked about certificate, like a certificate of completion or an adoption certificate we do with some of our plush, and then a brand printed product, which I just talked about with the coffee. We just put our own label on coffee. So here's an example, and I found this in January when I was looking at, I really need to dump some of this Amazon seller weight, right? So as many people, end of December, I'm looking at things, get fit. And this was one of the bundles that came up. It's a really awesome bundle. I don't know what the rank is now because I pulled this in December or January, but it's really well done. And here's how they locked it down. They just printed their brand on the bag. But all of these other things, I bet they got off of AliExpress, Alibaba, or direct from manufacturer. This is a really solid bundle and a solid listing in addition. Here's another example that the listing is not that great. Batter dispenser, and I just searched for this morning. Batter dispenser was one of the keywords this was ranking for. Pretty okay, kitchen and dining, top 0.43%. I don't like so they're doing an ebook. You can't do a free ebook according to Amazon's terms of service. Their initial picture's not that great, but they do have some great supporting pictures. But what you could do is create a Kindle book. You could upload your book to Amazon so that when somebody orders this, you can send them the link to download the Kindle book. So you're not, so you are still within Amazon's terms of service. Or better yet, how about you just print the darn book in, just a little saddle stitch. There are tons of fulfillment companies out there. Vervanti is one that I use. Of course, Vistaprint. For smaller run little booklets, right? Just have a booklet created and put it in the package. So when they get the package and they open it, you want them to be pleased and surprised and excited when they open your package, right? It's not just about what's in there, but it's about mitigating your returns as well. So if they are thrilled when they get that, they pull it out of the Amazon box like, oh, this is really cool. Now they have a book they can touch and open and feel and play with. That adds more value than an ebook. Okay, Fanatical Niche Market Ideas. I'm just brainstorming this a little bit this morning. I'm going to give you guys some starting points for your bundles. So themed birthday parties for pets. Okay, so how about unicorn birthday party for small dogs? Not kidding. Mermaid birthday party for small dogs. And I'm actually going to show you a live listing that's earning a stupid amount of money on the next slide. Unicorns and mermaids, this is a mashup. I don't understand the market, but here's how I got inspiration for this. It was in my Facebook feed. It was a news story about these fishermen that were in some lake and they saw something odd swimming around, and they looked, and it was a woman dressed up like a mermaid, but with the tail and everything and the wig. Oh, I should have brought the wig in. I bought a mermaid wig to kind of play with bundle wise. So I got it off of Wish, by the way. That's another great place to find some really cool products. And it's just this mermaid wig that's like purple and blue. And so this whole news segment was interviewing these people a lot of them are very introverted and shy and socially awkward. But when they become mermaids, they have a mermaid name. When they were interviewing them in their house, you could see everything in their house was about mermaids, decor, bedding, right? You see the niche markets I'm putting together here: mermaid, bedding, unicorn, bedding. And some of them had this cross thing. If they like mermaids, they like bedding. And this one lady had these amazing tattoos all over her body. So tattoos, right? Fill in the blank. Mermaid, unicorn. So look outside of the box of what we think are fanatical niche markets, because there are markets out there we might not understand, but there are people in there where it's their passion. And if you do the bundle right, they will say,
take my money.
Shut up and take my money. There we go. So B2B markets. I really like business to business markets, and here's why. So companies, and by B2B, I mean you're selling to another business. So there are a couple ways to approach this. Companies will buy larger quantities, so you can actually do a bundle of actually a bulk bundle of products that solve a need for a larger organization. So let's say you're going after event producers, and they need, they've got 200 people coming into a room, and they need 200 notepads, 200 pencils, 200 party hats, 200, let's say they're doing a New Year's Eve party, I'm just off the top of my head, and they need the little, noise makers, and they need 200 of them. You can do these larger bundles aimed at the corporate market and the B2B market. Another B2B market would be anything that's that needs to be replenished, that is consumable. So for instance, fast food stores or fast food chains. Clearly I don't eat at them because I don't know what they're called. Fast food restaurants, right? So let's say taco restaurants. We really niche it down to fast food taco. And what do? They have these plastic bowls, right? These little plastic things. And then they have the liner that goes inside of them. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. So you just do, a month's worth of supply, 500 liners and 500, because they have to be, they're thrown away. One use, they're gone, right? So outdoor and sporting, right now we're getting in the outdoor sporting areas. So I put that as a fanatical niche market you can look into right now. And I'm going to show you a listing that is just absolutely making bank in this niche in the next slide. So special education needs, baby boomer interests, huge. Baby boomers, there's a ton of us. I can say us because I'm a baby boomer. I'm on the edge of it. But women baby boomers, talk about a niche market. I did some research in this, and here's the finances of women baby boomers. First of all, they have their own money. Second, their husbands die before they do, and they get that inheritance. It's just numbers. I'm not trying to be like ghoulish or anything here, but I did research on this. So if you meet that market, if you find out what their passions and problems are, and you bring them a really solid bundle, they have the means to buy it. All you have to do is meet their needs and their passions, and then market to them properly. Car geeks. I'm a car geek. I like classic cars. Sci-fi geeks. Yes, I'm a sci-fi geek. I'm a trekker. You can tell my niche market ideas kind of came out of my own head this morning. And then animals of all kinds. How many of you, okay, be honest, how many of you at some point in the day, you're taking a break, maybe it's in the morning, and you start going through Facebook, and there's these cute animal videos, right? With these like pygmy goats in the pajamas hopping around, and little panda bears, and right? Just kind of for a little smile. You do it even if you don't admit you do, right? Well, think about the niche market for these. There are people who are fanatical about pygmy goats, pigs, like the potbelly pigs and the mini pigs. So could you put a bundle of clothing together for mini pigs and little hats? How about a birthday party for mini pigs, right? But you want to do a male version and a female version. Right? Chickens. There are people who not only collect chickens, but they raise chickens. Elephants, baby, any animal. Doesn't matter what the animal is, how, cute or ugly it is grown up, but you make it a baby and anybody will watch it. Horses, Fanatical. So for instance, one of the things we'll do is we source, I own a bedding company, so we'll source blankets with horses and owls and giraffes and elephants and chickens, but then we'll put a stuffed animal with it. So it's a cuddle up with your stuffed animal and your blanket, and then we'll put one more custom piece to it to lock it down, or we'll put it in our under our brand, in our bedding brand. So think outside the box. Okay, so here is one example I found this morning, and this is the Unicorn Party Supplies set. This is a really great listing, guys. Look at this. 4,300 in toys and games, top 0.07%. I ran Jungle Scout. They're selling it for 26 bucks. And by the way, when I say bundling, I don't mean a $6.99 price point. My minimum price point requirement is $24.99. And I look for higher price points, but not, you have to make sure the value of the bundle meets your price point. Okay. Don't just overprice something it won't sell, clearly. But they're selling for 25 bucks, 126 pieces, really fabulous listing. And they're selling 688 units a month for a $17,881 gross revenue. Is that crazy?
That's impressive. That's a really good listing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Wait, there's more. You knew I had another one, right? Here we go.
Of course.
Listing's not that good. Listing kind of sucks. It's 21,524 in sports and outdoors. All they did to lock down this bundle, first of all, they're breaking Amazon's terms of service by having their logo on the initial picture. The initial picture is not very identifiable, and it's too small. And all they did was they put their logo on this carry bag. Could you do a better job at creating this listing? Look at the bullet points compared to the last slide, right? Look at this. This listing is not that great, but the product clearly reaches a target market that is looking for something that this product solves, that has a problem that this product solves, or a passion. Look at what they're doing based on Jungle Scout about 2 hours ago, selling 148 units a month, equaling $8,873 in gross revenue. So after Amazon fees, they're netting before cost of product advertising $44.46. So could you reverse engineer this and do it better, right? The photos, the products, add more value to it, do a better listing. And even if you did half of this, right? So these are just a couple of examples of, this one's fairly easy to put together.
Sure.
Now, what if you did 10 of these? Do the numbers in your head. What if you had just 10 of these selling even, 100 units a month in different niche markets? So you want blue unicorns for boys who like unicorns. And for example, or you make this a mermaid bundle, you make this a train bundle or a sports related bundle, right? Okay. So let's do the math. Just if you created just 10 bundles, just 10 different items that average $10 net. I mean, these are really fairly small numbers, and you sell just 50 of each a month. And you saw that on the last two slides, they were selling, this one's selling 148. This is 688. So these are very conservative numbers. That equals about $5,000 net monthly profit, and $60,000 net annually just from 10 products. Does that math make sense?
Yeah. This just shows you that, like, it doesn't take a large amount to get some serious profit coming in.
Nope. And you don't need a huge amount of capital to get started too. If you use my method where you're really validating the market and the passion and the problem up front, so you're reducing your risk. Now you're losing less money than if you're just throwing stuff up against a wall. Make sense? Okay, let's go over here and see if we've got any questions, because I know I've thrown out a lot. Okay, so should we be taking wholesale name brand products? So a lot of these questions, here's the deal. I want to respect your time. So a lot of these questions are going to be more in depth. So I'm going to invite you guys. Do you have a group that we can send them to where they can ask the questions? We'll just do a post up there where they can ask all their questions on that post. And that way, everybody who wasn't able to get on the webinar can also have the benefit of the answers. Can you tell us what group that would be?
I couldn't
We
tell you.
could get Dylan to make one.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan's going to make a group. He's going to email everybody a group, and we're going to answer all of these questions here because there are a lot of them. We're going to get them answered in the group. So we'll take these out of the chat after the webinar, put them in the group, and answer them one by one. And that way, everybody gets the benefit of learning. Oh, thank you. Renee says I'm awesome. Oh, really? Is there really enough of a market for such specific niche? Joe asks. Is there really enough of a market for such specific niche product like unicorn party for dogs that will sell enough to make it worthwhile? So Joe, it doesn't matter what I say. My answer doesn't matter because it's all about the numbers. So here's what you would do. You would start, I would start on merchantwords.com and I'd start doing research for unicorn party and party for dogs, birthday party for dogs, dog birthday party, unicorn dog birthday party. And I'd really start exploring what that target market looks like in order to answer that question. Because if you ask that question and whoever you're asking of has not done this research and they say, no, that'll never work, or, oh yeah, you'll make $1 gazillion, and they haven't done that research, run. Because every answer to your business questions about whether or not a product will work has to be based on what the market is telling you, what the research is telling you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So testing bundle, 5 units is polybag okay or cheesy? Depends how you do it. It depends how, you can use polybags in creative ways so things aren't cheesy looking. So if one of your criteria are, make sure that any bundle I send in looks professional, is prepped professionally, then it won't look cheesy if you meet that. Okay. And we're going to talk about UPC codes. Somebody reached out to me in email. We're going to talk real quick about UPC codes. Somebody asked me in an email yesterday. So I bought 1,000 UPC codes off of eBay a couple of years ago. Can I use those on my bundles? Used to be that you could. But Amazon last year changed their terms of service about a year ago. You must now apply for a GTIN exemption for your bundles, which is easy peasy, and they approve it really quick. And I've got instructions on how to do that with a whole little checklist in the Bundle Masterclass. Or you can register your own UPC codes at under your brand name at the GS1 website. So those are your two options. If you use UPC codes that are from some other company and you put your own brand in there, Amazon, and they actually have a warning now when you create a listing that says if you do that, you run the very real risk of that, not only that listing getting shut down, but your account being suspended if you keep trying to do it. So you want to do bundling the right way, and by the right way, I mean within Amazon's terms of service, period. Okay, so let's just talk. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and I want to talk a little bit about the Bundle Masterclass. Eric, do you and Dan have any questions about what we just talked about? I know I went fast.
No. I mean, I actually loved it. You gave so many nuggets of information there that just make a lot of sense. Like as far as how you think about bundles and how you're putting together bundles makes a lot of sense to me. Whereas before, to be honest, like before I said on this webinar, bundling to me seemed like mostly people just throwing a bunch of crap in a bag and trying to own their listing. I like the approach of trying to legitimately add value. Like that's something that rings true to me. And then I love the idea of following the rules. Like the fact that you're telling people, do not use these barcodes. Like that's a bad idea. Make sure you're operating within Amazon's terms of service. And one question I would ask is, how much is it to register my brand with GS1 and get those barcodes? Like if I wanted to start bundles and I wanted to go that route.
It depends how many you buy. The more you buy, the cheaper it is. So if you're serious about creating an income source just from bundles, and so I look to create 10 new bundles a month, minimum. That's only, 2 to 3 a week concepts. And as I illustrated, I come up with bundle concepts and niche market concepts really fast and naturally. So if I'm doing 10 a month, conservatively by the end of the year, I've got 100 new bundles. So would it make sense for me now, knowing that I'm going to build out at least 100 bundles and probably more by the end of the year, that it would make sense for me now to bulk buy maybe 500 of them. Because as I get good at creating bundles and create a system for it, I can pump them out pretty darn quickly. And some of them are going to work and some of them aren't. But when you start with market research, you increase your chances of a product working well on Amazon. So I want to have a pool. If I'm going to save half, 50% off by buying 500 of them, I'll buy 500. And nature abhors a vacuum. So if I get 500, it's going to motivate me to do 400 more bundles. So we'll have to check the GS1, I think it's .org website to see the exact pricing. But I know the more you buy, the less you pay. That was a lot.
Awesome. And then one other thing, and I'm sure you've had students who have this problem too. But like Eric, I think will do great at this, great at bundling. Like he's very creative. Like the way his mind works, he's very he relates niches very well. Like it just makes sense for him. Somebody like me, I'm not very creative. Like I think my wife would be great at this. Like she'd be amazing. But for me, can people who aren't creative be successful with bundling?
Okay, so there's an assumption in there that you're not creative. So I believe everybody is a creative soul when they come out of the womb. We are all creative beings. And here's what happens as we enter adulthood and go through the traditional school system. It's kind of deprogrammed out of us, but the seed of creativity is still there. So I teach, I've got a background, believe it or not, there's actually a master's program in this, who'd have thunk, right? At State University College at Buffalo, New York, on creative problem solving, leadership, and facilitation. And I went through the program as an undergrad. So, I used to facilitate at CIBSI, which is Creative Problem Solving Institute. So I share a bunch of my tools for brainstorming. And it's all about, if I had to come down to one thing, it's about asking the right questions. So instead of asking yes or no questions, you want to ask open-ended questions. You want to ask, if I did this, what would happen? And what else would happen? And then how else could I use that? Asking the right questions will kind of re-trigger that childlike nature that we have to be creative and spontaneous. And I know you have kids too, don't you, Dan?
I do have kids.
You hang out with them more because they are creative souls, right? So leverage the resources around you, and that is definitely your children.
That makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes I do. Do you have any other burning questions?
No, I mean, I was just going to. I think the thing about the GTIM was really interesting because I was thinking about the GS1 too, and I like the fact that it's this data driven. That's the part that makes the most sense to me. I think with the tools that are available, it's not just spaghetti against the wall here. You have a lot of hard data that's going to really set you up to be ahead of the curve and success. If not imminent, very likely.
I think the piece in the process that a lot of people miss when they're creating a bundle concept is they go from emotion to action and they don't validate that emotion. So if you just put that one piece in there and you say, oh man, that is so cool. I would totally buy these. This is so cool. I would totally buy them. And then I step back and I put my business owner's hat on. I say, okay, but let me see if anybody else will. Let me see if there's a niche market for this type of product. And let me see what else are they buying. Why are they buying it? What problem does it solve? So I start asking the right questions. And I teach that in the Bundle Masterclass. What are those right questions? How do you really dig deep into a market by asking the right questions and identifying what the problems and passions are? So putting the validation piece between emotion and launch is the piece that most sellers miss. They go from, oh, this is so cool. I can totally sell this. I'm going to put together a bundle, throw it on Amazon. And 6 months later, they're pulling it back before long-term fees or so that's what I teach. Can I tell you guys a little bit about the Bundle Masterclass?
I want to know more.
Awesome. Well, this is pretty much it. You got a truncated version really quickly, but I expand out on everything, the entire process, which is a 6-step process. So it's step by step. There's exercises after each lesson because I truly believe the best way to learn is to watch, implement, instead of just binge watching something. In order to really get education and information to stick, I think it's best we do. So I teach you something and then I make you go do it. And then there's also over my shoulder live webinars, so you get to actually see me do live brainstorming, unscripted. We never know where we're going to end up on these videos, right? Because we start with, let's find some fanatical niche markets, and at the end we've got a whole list of really funky stuff we didn't know existed. And you get to look over my shoulder. I've done a bunch of those too there in the course. You learn, now here's the key. Just throwing a bundle up there, or let's say you did the first 5 steps and you put the bundle up, but you didn't do any marketing. I think you're missing a really important piece that most Amazon sellers don't do. We're talking Facebook marketing, Pinterest, off Amazon marketing. Right? You can drive traffic with YouTube videos. How about if you're doing like a bundle for little dogs, for like unicorn party for little small dogs, and you dressed up your little dog and you had his little dog friends and dressed them up and you did a cute video on YouTube, how likely are you to go viral with something like that? And then you link over to your product. So there are some really creative, fun things you can do with marketing that don't cost any money to do to drive traffic to your Amazon listing. So some other master bundlers, people you might have heard of in the industry, you see them a lot of Facebook groups. Some people who are already doing bundling, and then they took my course, and I kind of retrained them to do bundles based on my process. Here's some other bonuses you get. You get a trade show calendar, so you're going to find 35 niche trade shows, which means all of these niche markets that we have no clue exist, they all have trade shows or association shows. So this trade show calendar will kind of give you an idea of vendors in that area too, because they have vendor lists too. So you can really dig deep on niche markets. A cheat sheet, wholesale supplier directories. I've got a ton of bonuses there. Competitor tracking spreadsheet, an extra site at the end of each module, discounts off of next seller tools. And then we've got an exclusive bonus from Dan and Eric. Dan and Eric, you guys are throwing in a spreadsheet of the top 100 selling Amazon products. Now, how can we tie that in to bundling? How can we use the spreadsheet for bundling?
No, I mean, this is how I would do bundling, is get a high volume product that you can borrow some keywords from and plug that into your unique bundle. Yep. to make an amazing bundle. Like, that's the thing, is I feel like you get extra traction by being able to tie these awesome products in. And having this type of sheet, I feel like, gives people a lot of power to find the product that truly fits their bundle. I mean, there's 100,000 SKUs there.
Because keywords are great. I mean, that's how you get, eyes on your product and things like this. But this is conversions. These are the top actual selling products. So, like, people aren't just searching for these things; they are purchasing these things, which is, obviously where we want to be. So,
right,
it's like just another piece of data to further validate you're heading in the right direction, or maybe you need to reevaluate, like, it's not, the similar products aren't really selling that we can see, so it's just another data point that,
or to get ideas for niche markets you didn't know exist. So if there's a product on there and you click on it and it's like, ranked 3 in a category, and it's not a bundle, and then you look at people who bought this also bought, and then you take that piece of data and you start back at data validation, and you say, okay, what are the questions I need to understand? What do I have to ask to understand this target market? Who is buying this product? And why are they buying it? Why are they so passionate about it? Does it solve a problem? Does it speak to feed a passion? Why does it feed that? How does it solve that problem? And how can we solve that problem better by putting together a product bundle? So knowing what the top 100,000 products are selling on Amazon gives us a huge leg up on identifying niche markets to go after to create bundles for. So thank you for agreeing to do this bonus. So the real cost of education. I told you guys I just got back from a marketing conference. It cost me, with flight and hotel, it's probably close to $4,000 to do that event, but thrilled to do it because it was well worth it in my business. It'll take me a while to implement the things that I learned. But I've got like 13 of those, 13 weeks and 8 events of different types lined up. So it costs, education can cost a lot of money and be worth it in the end. So investing in your own education as a business owner is key. Because I invest in going to so many conferences, I learn from a bunch of different sources, and then I'll bring that to you guys in the course in the private Bundle Masterclass Facebook group. So being uninformed and taking action without understanding can actually cost you more money than education. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's say you get suspended because you actually use UPC codes from eBay, bad, right? And Amazon suspends you. And now all of your listing, your income is gone because you didn't know what you didn't know. And now you've got to hopefully pay to get unsuspended if you can, or start over somewhere else because you've lost your ability to sell on Amazon. What would that be worth to you? Live events can be costly, worth it, but it takes time away from your family and your business. And if you have a real job, not everybody can go to live events. And then high-end courses. you know, $3, $4, $5, $8,000 for coaching programs, right? Sometimes if you're not in a position to invest that level in your business yet financially, then you won't be able to buy inventory. So you can learn a lot in high-end programs, but you don't have anything left to go source with. So I wanted to come up with a solution that would give you tools to get you started and leave money in your pocket to go sourcing right now, so that you can create a base of profitable bundles selling on Amazon that are bringing in regular income, so you can ramp up your savings in order to invest in the higher training. So here's what I came up with for you guys. The Bundle Masterclass, all 42 lessons, the videos, the checklist, everything is normally $4.99. You get instant access right now for $3.99. For 1 week, we're going to close down the bonus offer. So the bonus for this is only available through Wednesday, March 14th, which is next week, 1 week from now. You can enroll now at bundlemasterclass.com/TWF, and you can grab the course. Go ahead and enroll. I'll get you in the private Facebook group, and you can get started right away today. Get the welcome email and video today, and we'll get you bundling. So I'm going to go switch over to the chat and see if we've got any questions here I can answer, and make sure that everybody's needs are being met to the best of my ability. I'm sure there are a lot of questions here.
I'm sure.
So Abby says, and I'm just randomly pulling these out because there are a lot of questions, so whatever catches my eye. So I wanted to know if there was a magic number of items in each bundle. So Abby, no, because it's not about how many pieces are in the bundle. It's about making sure the value of everything you put in there is relevant to that target market. So there could be 2 pieces. You saw the bundle with all of the paper goods, 167 pieces for that unicorn party, right? It's about it's not about how many pieces, it's about the value of the bundle. Make sense? I know we have to retrain our brains, okay? And I'm going to help you like reprogram a little bit to think of things a little bit different. So Eric asks, so when you were doing your research, and I'm referring to merchant words, is there a certain number of threshold that you use to determine if the potential market is go, no go to move forward? That's a really great question. So it's got to be a big enough market that I'll be able to sell 50 to 100 a month of a bundle. I like 100 a month a minimum, but to get started, you could easily sell 50 a month. And also it's also a factor of how much competition is in that market. So if it's a really small, if it's not a huge amount of searches and there are a bunch of other people serving that market, it might be a little bit more diluted market. So a little bit bigger is better. Okay. So maybe let's say, 60,000 searches a month minimum. And I might, if it's a mashup and I can mash up keywords for that product, I might go half that, because then I can meet 2 different markets. And sometimes it's just a matter of testing, because if you don't have a lot of competition and there is keyword research, and then you can try out 2 dozen of a concept and it hits, then, and it didn't cost you a lot to do. Some of it is about testing product in live.
Barbara,
do you cover where to buy the bundle presentation material from? So you can go to bundlemasterclass.com/TWF. I'm not sure if that's exactly what you're asking, Michelle. Can a business partner and I share the course, or would we have to sign up individually? You know what, Gabrielle, I'm open to, I would have to validate that to make sure that you guys are indeed business partners, but I'm open to doing a reduced cost for the second person. Not done that yet, but go ahead and reach out to me on Facebook. Dylan is going to create a group and email it to everybody just for questions about the Bundle Masterclass. And you can place the question in there, and I'll chew on that for a little bit. And you can also message me. My name is Barbara Drazga. That's DRAZGA. And you can message me privately, and we'll have a chat about it. So let's see. So when do you pull the plug if a bundle isn't selling? How much time do you give it? I like to turn in 30 days. So especially with Amazon's new fees, we don't have time to go into their new fee structure on this webinar. But I'm looking for a 30-day turn on my product. What turn time do you look for on your products, whether they're wholesale or what? Do you have
we're shooting for 45-day turn rates right now.
Okay, 30, 45 days. So, if you're holding on to any product 5 months and it's not selling, you need to figure out what's wrong with it and fix it, and then eventually just pull the plug. And as with anything, there's the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle. So if something's not working and you've tried everything and you've, approached it from a business standpoint and you said, okay, I'm going to try this, take the emotion out and it doesn't work, then move on. extract whatever value you can and put that into something that has a higher chance of working. Make sense?
One question I would have
Yes.
that I think is relevant here is whenever you start a bundle, you said you typically do it with maybe a couple dozen items. Let's say a $24.99 bundle. What do you expect your cost to be on an initial order for something like that?
Okay, so I look at it from what's the minimum. I have a set of everybody should have sourcing criteria, and I know you guys do have for wholesale. One of my sourcing criteria, my criteria for selling bundles is minimum $8 net. Minimum, and I go for 10 minimum. But when you're starting, you can easily do $8 net. And here's why: I want that bubble. I need that wiggle room so I can do pay-per-click ads if I want. So I can do paid traffic from Facebook if I want. Selling, $14.99 products is just not going to do it anymore.
Right.
So what
you're saying is you could probably start a bundle pretty easily, test a bundle for $250.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, easy. Even $100.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking for. I just so people understand that it's not.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Don't have to buy like a large amount of inventory. This is something you can really just test.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. No, if you have $100 to start with to try a bundle out, completely doable. You would just do a smaller, for instance, and this cycles back around to a webinar that Dan and Eric did earlier this year in January, where I was lamenting that I have a bedding company and I have a certain color bed sheet that won't sell, pink. And I said on the webinar, I should do a princess bundle with that. Well, I did, with 6 of them. I put a little frilly pink pillow with it, a heart-shaped pillow, and I put an eye mask that I got from AliExpress for like 42 cents, right? And I put that in the bundle, 3-piece bundle, and I marketed as a princess bedding set for tweens and preteens. And that bundle sells for $49.99.
Sweet.
So, and I only sent in 6 to test it because I had 6 sitting there that weren't selling the way I have been selling them. Right? It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just try those 6. So yes, you can absolutely just test on a small quantity with a limited investment in order to test it. And that's the beauty of doing bundles as opposed to, spending tens of thousands of dollars on a container coming from China, because you can test it before you jump full force in. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so do you guys have anything? I'm going to save the chat. We're going to put it in the Facebook group. Check your email, everybody. I'm going to email you out a link to this replay and a link to the chat, and we're going to start putting all these questions in the chat in the Facebook group, so I can make sure I get every single one of them answered. There's a lot of them in there. Let's see if there's any last one that I can answer here. So Gabriel Smith says that $3.99 includes the 100,000 product list too. Yes. That $3.99 gives you full access to the Bundle Masterclass, all of the lessons, all of the checklists and exercises from me. Plus, Dan and Eric have thrown in this 100,000 top selling products on Amazon as their bonus to this course. Now, that bonus expires in 1 week. So you've got 7 days to ask me anything you want in that Facebook group, and I'll answer anything. And reach out to me privately at barbaradrazga.com if you've got questions that are specific to a bundle concept you don't want to share in public. Totally get it. And I'll walk you through it. So does anybody have any last minute questions that I can answer really quick here? So that's 100,000 product list. Let me go back here. This is what you guys are getting as a bonus. The top 100,000 products that are selling on Amazon right now. They are the absolute top 100,000 best sellers. Think of all the other ways you can use this, guys. Are you sourcing wholesale? Are you looking for suppliers?
The course is incredibly valuable. For what it's worth, this actual product right here, I promise you, is worth more than $399. Just being able to source off this list, just doing it for wholesale.
Even if, God forbid, you threw away the Bundle Masterclass and you just bought this for $399 and sourced off of it wholesale. Right?
And this is not an item we sell. This is nothing, this is not an item that you're going to be able to buy later from us or something like that. And
you're going to pull this list fresh, right? You're going to pull this list fresh for us.
Yep. And it's legitimately
not something that's dated. They're going to pull it fresh for me. And this is the type of data that Dan and Eric use inside of their own business. And they're putting it as a bonus for the Bundle Masterclass. So go ahead and scooch over to bundlemasterclass.com/TWF to grab this. And I will send out an email with the replay. and a link to the Facebook group so you can ask questions. Thank you, Dan and Eric, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure being on with you. I feel like we definitely learned some stuff.
Yeah, the energy's always high and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is me without coffee. All right, well, thank you, everybody. I'll see you on Facebook. Take care.
See you.
Share. Desperately trying to figure out how to end this. There we go. Stop recording. There we go.